Hi Dukes, this is Erin Bear from the Office of Career and Academic Planning at James Madison University, and I'm here to walk you through step 3 of the decision-making process. In step 1 and 2, you have gathered a lot of information about yourself and the different majors and career opportunities available to you. But now that you've gathered all that information, in step 3, we make the decision. However, a lot of times we have so much information, we have to figure out how to break it down and analyze it so that we can process it well. We're going to show you 2 different tools that we like to use to help us kind of narrow down the decisions in front of us and strategically think through how these things matter to us to help us move us to the next level. Through this example, I am going to be using a much more simple example than choosing your major or career path, but I'm going to be talking about where to go to eat on date night with my husband. This is only for the purpose of showing you how to utilize these tools. It is not in any way trying to say that it is the same level of difficulty, although sometimes it does feel that way. The first one that we're going to talk about is a card sort. And so, 8 different restaurants that we would be interested in going to. However, we need to kind of separate that out. We obviously are not going to all 8 of them, so how do we kind of make this more manageable? Well, we break it down into 3 categories. So, restaurants that we are highly interested in going into, maybe that we're interested in going tonight, and then we're just not interested in going to tonight. So, you can see how we broke these 3 down. Although we love El Charro and the Japanese steakhouse, we're not feeling it tonight, and so we're not going to go there tonight. So, we get rid of that not interested pile. Additionally, we would suggest get rid of the maybe interested too, because it seems like there are higher preferences that rise to the top consistently. This allows you, the card sort really is good for helping you take a lot of different options and narrowing it down to a small, more manageable list. So if you have 8, 10 majors that you are interested in, this is a really good way for you to start kind of making it smaller into a more manageable chunk. So even though we have maybe interested, we know that we're not going to go there tonight, and so we are going to take it down just to our highly interested. We would advise you that if you have a major that you are considering, but it's still staying in that lower, maybe interested, not really, but you have other majors that are consistently rising to the top, don't be afraid to just set that other major to the side and go, you know what, I don't think that this is the major for me. That's okay. But now you see we have a list of 3 restaurants that we are interested in. Hopefully in your case, maybe majors or career paths. But it's also helpful to take this and go, now how would I rank these if I had to? So for us, we would rank the Chop House as number 1 for our desire to go, Vito's Italian Kitchen, and then Jack Brown's. However, it's important to know that even though we've narrowed it down to 3 opportunities, sometimes it's not enough just to say, hey, I want the Chop House the most. Sometimes you have other things to consider, which is where we bring in our second tool. The second tool that we are going to walk you through is a graph to help you assess the priorities that you have that go along with your decision. So, like you can see here at the top, we have our restaurant options, the top 3 that we chose. For you, this is where you would choose your different majors. So we have Jack Brown's, Vito's, and the Chop House. And other down here, we have things that we really need to be considering as we make this choice. For example, my husband and I have a budget that we adhere to, and so every 2 weeks we get a date night budget. So we need to check that account to see how much money do we have for date night budget. Also, we like to eat healthy even on date night, and so what restaurant is going to allow us to eat healthy through this night as well? And then lastly, the atmosphere is important to us. We don't want to have to be screaming over other people to have a good conversation. These for you might look like economic return. They might look like altruism, like I want to make sure that I can work with people. They might look like work-life balance. This right here could look like the ability to have just a job that is stable and that you don't need to worry about it through recessions or times of economic downturn. And so this will look different for every single person according to what they care about. But you can see over here we have a scoring guide, and this just means 1, it does not meet my preference, okay? So it's gonna get the lowest score. 2, moderately meets my preference in this category, and then 3, meets my preference really well. So I went through and kind of navigated these out. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but we'll just say Chop House is a pretty expensive restaurant, and so for budget, it got a 1. We're going to say in that account, we have $50 to go out to a restaurant. There's no way you can eat at a Chop House for $50, and so we put that as a 1. But Vito's and Jack Brown's okay. Healthiness wise, Jack Brown's is probably not going to be the healthiest, but at Vito's and Chop House, we can pretty much eat pretty healthy there. And then lastly is the atmosphere. Jack Brown's, unless you're sitting outside, you're going to be yelling at people. And during these colder months, that might not be an option to sit outside. And then Vito's Italian Kitchen and the Chop House. Vito's is a good atmosphere, but sometimes it can get a little busy, which can be a hard time to have a conversation. But the Chop House is the ideal environment. So if we score all these up, you see that Vito's comes out on top. However, Jack Brown's gets eliminated pretty easily, but the Chop House is only 1 point behind. And if you're making a big decision, such as a major or a career, 1 point might not seem significant enough to help you push over the line to go, this is the one I want to choose. So there's another option to doing this grid that can help you hopefully broaden that gap so that you can see what's most important. For example, say that my husband and I, we value health and we value atmosphere, but the primary thing that we are stuck on is we will not spend over our date night budget of $50. So if you see over here, the scoring guide for health and atmosphere stays the same, 1, 2, or 3. However, we are going to assign more points to the budget because we value that the most. The example would be at Jack Brown's and Vito's, we can both eat for under $50. But at the Chop House, there's no way that we can eat food, both of us eat, and tip well for under $50. We gave that one a 1. So when you look now, Vito's still actually came out on top, but you see that the difference is a lot more drastic, which would just affirm me that this is the decision that I would want to make. For you, this might be an opportunity for you to go, hey, I really care about economic stability and all of this stuff, but the thing that matters most to me is economic return, that I'm going to make a really strong salary. So you might weight that one a little bit stronger. But this is going to look different for every single person. It just gives a numerical way to kind of consider and think about these things. Again, there are other ways that you can be thinking about different processes and decision making. You can make pros and cons lists. You can talk to different people. But still, some people get stuck. And so the next video that we're going to talk about is analysis paralysis. If you've gathered all this information and you still just cannot make a decision, we're going to talk to you about how to get out of your own head and to get the ball rolling forward with making a decision. If you would like to talk any further about this presentation or anything, please just schedule an appointment with us on Handshake. If you have any questions, we are more than happy to talk to you. Thanks, Dukes. Bye.